What is going on, Cog Squad? Of course, Jason over here at Cog Hill Farm. As most of y'all know, we are taking ourselves a little break this week, and therefore, in the last few years, when we've taken us a break, we didn't post any videos for that week. But I thought, you know what? I might do a little something different. This idea just came out of nowhere, and I was like, this could be doable. I might be able to do this instead of trying to record 7 videos in 10 days and get them edited and spaced out and scheduled, and which would be hardly, I just can't do it. It's impossible. But I thought this might be doable. Kind of a best of series, or a few videos, I say the best of, me going back to some older videos and giving some more context and some stuff that was happening behind the scenes, and a lot of things that no one even knew about or even knows about. And I just thought it would be fun. I know not everybody's gonna like this, and I completely understand, but I thought some of y'all just might. And right off the bat, when I thought of this, there was one particular video that without hesitation, 1000% I knew I was going to do. 1000%. Matter of fact, this one video is the reason, or as how I thought of this, to be honest with you. And that video is the I Can video. This was my first breakout video. And when I say breakout, I think I got about that time period there for 3 or 4 weeks. I think I got about around 20,000 views on this video, which was huge for me. I was a small, unknown, pretty much, YouTuber in the gardening, farming, homesteading niche. Hardly anybody knew who I was, and this was my big moment right here, to be honest with you. It was a collaboration. And used to back in the day, when we were up and coming YouTubers, and I say we, I meant this whole group, you would collaborate with other YouTubers your size, or maybe just a little bit larger than you, or maybe just a little bit smaller than you. And what would happen is, you as a group would pull in other subscribers or viewers. It was something that we used to do all the time back in the day. I don't see anybody doing this anymore, and I really don't know why. Back then, you know, of course, your big channels, you know, they didn't have time or didn't know who we were. You know, they wouldn't get any benefit out of this, and so you'd always team up with other channels. And then the best thing about this, or collaborating with other channels, is you start a relationship with these other content creators, you know, like-minded content creators, and that turned into friendships. That's how I met Daniel at Arms Family Homestead, Dutch at Keeping It Dutch, my buddies over there at Living Traditions Homestead, which they no longer do videos hardly anymore. They kind of retired, I would say. Weed'em and Reap, Danelle and her husband over there at Weed'em and Reap, Jake at White House on the Hill, Al at Lumna Acres, oh gosh, Roots and Refuge. That's how I became friends with these content creators. And I'm naming those because they eventually, like us, kind of broke through. Now, there was a lot that didn't. I was going back looking at all the playlist of collaborations that I did and all the other creators, and there was a lot that didn't make it, and some that I still actually have a relationship with, that are still friends, that no longer make videos from doing these collaborations. And I know it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. My strategy when it came to these collaborations was I wanted to stand out from everybody else. I wanted mine to be completely different, that would just knock your socks off. I wouldn't blend in, I would stand out, and that's how I treated these collaborations back in the day. And the collaborations would be something like, this one was, what did I learn my first year of homesteading? And so it was like 10 other creators that did a similar video, and it would lead you to one content creator to the other. Another one was my top 5 tips for chickens, and then another person, I think Daniel, did top 5 tips for goats, and Dutch had done sheep, and then Living Traditions may have done pigs. And so if you wanted the tips for all the animals, you would have to go from one creator to the other, and that's how the collaborations worked. I wish I'd see more of that, instead of, you know, to me, from what I see now is of course everybody wants the bigger channel to shout them out, and they get that big rush, and that usually hurts you more than it helps you, to be honest with you, because if you're new, you're still learning, your videos aren't quite polished and good yet, and so you send a rush of people from someone like me that's been doing this 10 years now, and you know, the quality is just going to be different. Let's just be honest, it's just going to be different, and they're going to go, oh, it's okay, and then they never come back. And if you did it this way, where we are all the same size or close to the same size, it really worked for us back in the day. Now it's a slow go. I always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. I don't know. I just wish I'd see more content creators that are trying to grow their audience and get bigger to do this. But yeah, this was it. This is the I Can video, if you haven't seen it. And I'll tell you a little more about this video after you watch it. When I was asked to do this collaboration with this great group of channels, I was absolutely shocked. I couldn't believe it. And then they told me, you know, that the whole series is about what you learned your first year of homesteading, and could I, you know, shine a light on that. And one thing kept coming back to me when I was thinking about making this video, and it is this. When you live like this, or you have a farm or a homestead, you got to wear a lot of hats, because you just can't afford to go pay everybody to do everything for you. And then fear and doubt set in, and you start questioning things. See, that fear and that doubt's gonna come creeping in and tell you you can't. And then they start trying to knock those hats off, or they stop you from putting another one on, because fear and doubt are gonna tell you you can't do that. You don't need to try to have a farm or a homestead. You need to be just like everybody else. You can't build that. You're not a carpenter. You can't make that. You can't do that because you're not a plumber. You're not an electrician. You're not a mechanic. You're not a veterinarian. You're not a farmer. You can't live like this. You can't make it with just one income coming in. You can't have a homestead or a farm on that small amount of property. Your property's too wet. You can't raise pigs, especially heritage breeds pigs. They take too long to grow. You're gonna lose money. You can't raise meat chickens. Are you crazy? Nobody's gonna pay that kind of money for a non-GMO pasture-raised meat chicken. You can't get up at 5:30 in the morning on a super cold winter morning and move the chickens. You can't free range your chickens. A free range chicken is a dead chicken. And besides, who's gonna pay a couple more dollars free range egg? You can't have an organic garden. The pests are gonna destroy it. And besides that, the only way you can really grow anything is if you throw triple 13 on it. You can't make it because you're gonna fail. You know what? You dang right I failed. I failed my first year, second year, third year, and so on and so on. And I'm gonna keep on failing. But when you fall, you got to get up, and when fear and doubt start trying to kick you when you're down, you just get up, wipe the dirt off yourself, and get back at it. Figure out what you did wrong and learn from your mistakes, because you can't quit. The thing I learned my first year homesteading is I can. So funny thing about this video is, number one, I had an OL cheapo camera. You could hear it clicking. It made this horrible clicking noise when I got the camera, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. I did. I thought it was I bought it used off eBay. I probably paid like 20 bucks for it, but to me it was a $60,000 camera. I just thought it was so great. But you can hear that click, 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 click. No idea why I did that. Oh my goodness. Of course I didn't have any microphones either when I made this video. Another thing is I used to use a free software that came with my Windows-based computer. I think I had an old, I don't know, a El Cheapo computer that you get from Walmart, and that's what I used to edit on. And it came with something called Windows Movie Maker. It is the most basic of basic of basic film editing software that's ever been made. You cannot do anything with it except just put clips into place. And I had gotten so good because I had been on YouTube for about almost a year up to this point. Still unknown. No one knew who I was in the whole scheme of things. And I had figured out so many tricks and stuff that I could do with Windows Movie Maker, of course, that nobody else was doing. It's just hard for me to explain editing lingo there, but yeah, that was that was one cool thing that I had taught myself how to do on Windows Movie Maker, and I created, gosh, I don't know how many years of content with that cheap camera and Windows Movie Maker. This video went pretty, I don't want to say viral because it didn't went viral, and it still only got, I think, around 40-something thousand views as it sits today. But that video at the time in the homesteading world made its rounds, and a lot of big creators in the homesteading world jumped on board because they loved that video, and it really started to put me on the map in this niche. Now, I did not blow up overnight. It was year 5, or a little over 5 years for us before we were able to do YouTube full time. But this was only a year, so I still have 4 more years to go of just grinding it out before that was even possible. But this one kind of put me on the map, so to speak, in the homestead farming niche. As a matter of fact, there was an up-and-coming YouTube channel, again, small like us, called White House on the Hill. And he made a video called the top 10 homesteading videos of the year. I think that's what it was called, or top 5. Mine was voted number 1 by the community. And his video actually blew up as well. And that's when I talk about collaborating, because as that video blew up, it sent a lot of people to me. And so, yeah, it was really, really something special, really something awesome. I know that video touched a lot of lives, and still does throughout the years. Every year, y'all, I will get emails from someone saying they watched that video and it changed their life, or it gave them a boost. They were straddling the fence on something, were about to quit, and that video, made them say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I want to keep on keeping on. And yeah, it's a great video. Great video. Another behind the scenes, you see the cat walking around in the back. I'm trying to think. I think that cat was Velcro, was the name of that cat. No longer with us, but I think that cat was named Velcro. I had no idea that cat was in the background. And I remember after I videoed that thing and had it ready to edit, I thought the cat in the background was going to be a huge distraction and mess my entire video up. Oh goodness, but back then I only had Saturday and Sunday to record a video because I worked a full-time job. We were still doing meat chickens pretty much, I want to say full-time. I mean, we were supplying a high-end restaurant and a high-end catering service with their meat chickens. Me and Brooke had a flea market booth that we were working weekly, and we had started trying to get in the house flipping market. and bought a really, really inexpensive house, and we were trying to fix it up ourselves. So we had a lot on our plate. Of course, you know, regular old family time and all that, and trying to make 2 YouTube videos a week. So I had Saturday and Sunday to do that with, and so I couldn't reshoot that because that collaboration was set to go out on a certain date, and I had to be ready, so I left the cat in the video. Oh, good times, good times. But I just wanted to put that out there. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I know it's not my normal everyday stuff, but I thought some of y'all may enjoy the behind the scenes look at one of my most favorite videos, and I want to say my breakout video in this niche, and I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. We'll be back on July the 4th with a live, and are back on our regular scheduled program on July the 6th, which will be on a Monday. Hope you have the best day ever, and we'll try to do a couple more of these this week, and as always, y'all be good.